Welcome back, everybody. Today's going to be a great episode. I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff that was my grandfather's from World War II. He was a master sergeant in the 98th Signal Battalion, and he served in 3 of the Pacific campaigns, and he was highly decorated. He never really talked about it, but what I have is pretty incredible. And I want to start with this. I showed it the other day, but we're going to watch a little video related to it after I show you. So this is like a certificate from pretty much like a Masonic influenced sort of mock ritual that they would perform whenever military men or maritime men would get to the equator for the first time. So we're going to watch a little video about it, and it's very silly. And in this video, the president actually appears. But as you can see, my grandpa, Martin Whitney, is no longer a landlubber or a pollywog. He is now a shellback. It's called The Solemn Mysteries of the Ancient Order of the Deep. And you can find this video on YouTube, and it's hilarious. It's about 10 minutes. We'll watch a little bit of it. Basically, it's they say that in ancient times, when you cross the equator, or the line as it was known, you had to make a sacrifice because you were entering Neptune's kingdom, and let's just play it. I guess they still do it to this day. This is one of the oddest things I've ever watched.
King Neptune receives command of the ship and immediately orders that his flag, the Jolly Roger, be hoisted as a warning to all seafaring men. The ancient ruler of the deep goes modern. With a microphone, he welcomes all shellbacks to his domain, warning each and every pollywog that he intends to be as severe as he can for their offense of entering his domain. But if during their ordeal they prove themselves to be true men of the sea, he will be glad to welcome and acknowledge them as tried and trusty shellbacks.
Certainly a forgotten aspect of World War II. They're all in these elaborate costumes, kind of occultic costumes.
Accompanied by the ship's band, His Majesty inspects the ship while his royal retainers prepare the infernal machines and search all nooks and corners to ascertain that no pollywogs are trying to escape the pleasure of his royal wrath.
They basically haze them, sort of like a college hazing.
While other shellbacks look on, King Neptune complains that the presence of so many landlubbers is disagreeable and orders all pollywogs, lounge lizards, freshwater sailors, and amateur mermaid chasers to be brought before him.
Let's listen to that part once again.
Accompanied by the ship's band, His Majesty that no pollywogs are trying to escape the pleasure of his royal wrath.
Right here.
While other shellbacks look on, King Neptune complains that the presence of so many landlubbers is disagreeable and orders all pollywogs, lounge lizards, freshwater sailors, and amateur mermaid chasers to be brought before him. He mounts the throne and his royal retainers assemble.
Very silly. They go on to haze them. FDR's there.
While in office, presents his credentials to King Neptune.
There's an electric chair, and I'll pause it right here and read these to you. There's an electric chair they would have to sit in, and there's basically all sorts of different hazing, and there's different settings on the electric chair. One of them is Mama's Boy, shellbacks can take this, hard guys melt, handshakers crap out, white rat squeals, jellyfish, wardroom lounge lizard. Very silly. But at the end here, they actually show one of their certificates, and it's a little different than the one my grandfather got, but nonetheless very interesting. You see King Neptune at the top there, and the sirens, that's what these mermaids are called, I think. The sirens are there. Let me hold up Grandpa's one more time. A little bit different. Here, I'll make it on the big screen. It's missing the top of it. It's a little different. Nice paper, though. Color. Solemn and Ancient Mysteries of the Deep. Very funny. Very silly. All right. I guess I'll show you right here. He was in the 98th Signal Battalion, and you can see their emblem right here. Their slogan is Pugnando Pereferimus Nuntium, which means fighting, enduring, message. So signal battalions have to do with communication, logistics, infrastructure, electricity, and getting radios operational. Here's some examples of modern and past signal battalion emblems. It's actually an art to making these emblems called heraldry. Yeah. You can see they usually take on the same symbols, like the lightning bolt or the globe power lines right here, right? And go back to this one. You can see the power lines right there. So we have so many amazing documents we're going to look at, but let me show you some pins first. Here's let's get it into focus. This is a reunion, the 4th annual reunion, Camp Crowder. Then at the top there's a little Phrygian cap that says number 1 because of our vets. And I'll show you real quick in the Capitol building, the rotunda, a painting when you look up at the dome called the Apotheosis of Washington. You can actually see Neptune. There he is. You can see Neptune right here. Right? So, American tradition, I guess. And then you can see next to Washington, she's wearing the red Phrygian cap that we just saw on the pin. Interesting little connections there. Here's another one. Let me show you. There we go. Some good light. So yeah, it's power lines, and then a guy one-arming a Thompson, 98th Signal Battalion, inside of like a shield, the slogan under it, and taking the colors orange and white. Not sure why. All right, check this out. This is pretty incredible. I want to fix the focus real quick, though. Make sure you guys can see this well. Let's try. Okay, it's a Western Union telegram. And this is the telegram that my grandma got when she found out that my grandpa would be home. So at the top, it says something about Niagara Falls on Christmas Day, December 25th. I think that's where my grandfather was. Then it's addressed to my grandma. It says, "Merry Christmas, darling. I love you with all my heart. Arrive at Devon's Wednesday morning." And Devon's is in Massachusetts, near where they lived. So, can only imagine how happy she must have been to get this after 3 campaigns. Check this out. This is wild. This very well could have been a foxhole scribble, but it says 2nd Squad. And at the top is S. Sargent Whitney M. That's my grandpa. Not sure what S is. Maybe Staff Sergeant. And this is his squad. This is the squad he led through 3 campaigns of the war for years. And we're going to read about those campaigns and the medals he received. I'll hold this up for a second because you never know with YouTube who's going to come across a name they recognize. But yeah, he was in charge of 15 guys. He was a radio operator. We're going to be looking at some of that, which is very interesting. And then, yeah, tough job. A lot of responsibility. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is amazing. This was drawn by probably one of the people on that list. This is another little piece of battlefield art. And it looks like Snafu, who is a government cartoon for some military movies, like instructional movies and stuff, informational stuff. But perhaps it's my grandpa because he's dreaming of Christmas, wondering if 1945 Christmas he'll be home. And then it says Tokyo, 20 kilometers this way. In Clinton, Massachusetts, 11,345.5 kilometers that way. So it must be my grandpa. One of the guys in his squad must have drawn it for him. And that's funny because turns out he would be home Wednesday after Christmas, 1945. Ah, love America. What else we got here? Okay, speaking of the campaigns, Let me take a sip of coffee real quick. Yeah, this is it. Okay. So this is a letter from his commanding officer, whose name was Henry Honeyman. It's a funny name. Second Lieutenant, 98th Signal Battalion Personnel Officer. At the bottom there it says, for this outstanding officer. And this is a formal list of what my grandfather was allowed to wear. Let me get it in focus. Okay, it says, at the top, headquarters of the 98th Signal Battalion, San Francisco, California. And subject is awards and decoration, to whom it may concern. I certify that Master Sergeant Whitney Martin B. is entitled to wear the following awards and decorations. So the first one is Asiatic Pacific Theater Ribbon. And under that it says A, Bronze Star for New Guinea Campaign. B, Bronze Star for Southern Philippines Campaign. C, Bronze Star for Luzon Campaign. Wow, 3 bronze stars. A squad leader and a radio operator. And a sergeant. 2, Philippine Liberation Ribbon with a bronze star. Is that 4 bronze stars? Could be a repeat of one of the ones above. I don't know. 3, Notorious Service Unit Insignia. 4, Good Conduct Medal. 5, World War II Victory Medal. 6, American Theater Ribbon. Pretty incredible. That's really incredible. That's wild. I'm not sure if he ever wrote down anything about his time, but I imagine it was pretty crazy. This is really cool. I'll show you real quick. This is from 1928. This is almost 100 years old. I think it's from St. John's Catholic Church in Clinton, Massachusetts. It's a little certificate for my grandpa's first communion. Same grandpa from World War II we're talking about. Pretty incredible. He actually signed it on the back. I'll show you. Somebody did. Kind of looks like my dad's handwriting. Who knows? Okay, this is really interesting. This must have came from my grandpa. He must have mailed it to my grandmother when he was stationed at Camp Blanding, Florida, Southeastern Army Training Center. Yeah, that would make sense. It's color. And check this out. You open it, and it has a whole readout about the base. But not only that, it has this color photo book that shows all the different activities your loved one's doing at Camp Landing. Is them showing up. It's kind of awkward shaped. I'll try and make this work. There they are, in line. Big old howitzers. Wow. Ah, love it. It's double-sided, too. Just keeps going and going. That's really cool. Never seen one of these before. That's a one-of-a-kind little thing. I'm sure not many of those exist. Oh boy, wait till you see this. Ah. Office of Price Administration, Clinton Rationing Board, number 96, Church Street, Clinton, Mass. Stamp there, December 21st. I think what my father said was my grandmother needed new tires on the car. And I think that's what's going on here. Yeah, it says, let's read this first, and then I think there's a receipt for tires or something. United States of America, Office of Price Administration, address to which ration is to be mailed. This is a little insert, I see. Insert from the letter. But it's to my grandma, Ida. Rest in peace, her address. Clinton, Mass. And then there's a nice patriotic message on the back. Check it out. Rationing protects your share of war-scarce goods. Use only what you need. And let's see what else was in there. Okay. Oh, yeah. I think we can read this together this way. Let me adjust the focus a little bit. We're going to hold it close. This is probably about the best we'll get right here. So, United States of America, Office of Price Administration, says at the top, replenishment part of tire certificate B, number G133206. So this is legit a ration for a tire. That's wild. Worcester, Massachusetts. Sending it to Clinton, Massachusetts. Not too far away. How cool is that? There's more. Look at this. Look at the paper it came on. Oh, it's the eagle. You see the eagle with the USA? Tire suppliers, part of tire certificate A. Wow. Yeah, rubber. Rubber was scarce, of course. And then there's some information on the back. Certificate holder's endorsement. That's crazy. Pretty cool. Let me just tuck this away real quick. Why these things were kept, who knows, but they were. And I'm glad they were. All right, the Signal Corps School. Imagine being on the radio in charge of 15 dudes trying to talk while everything's blowing up for years. That'd be crazy. A lot of stuff to know. The Signal Corps School, United States Army, Camp Crowder. Okay, it's in Missouri. Enlisted Men's Department. This certifies that Martin B. Whitney, 34th Signal, I don't know what that means, construction battalion? Yes, I think that's construction battalion. And that makes sense because, you know, the stories I do know, he was building infrastructure as well. 1940, okay, he's been enrolled in this department from February 20th, 1943 to May 7th, 1943. And has satisfactorily completed the prescribed portion of the radio communication course, and is qualified as a radio operator high-speed semi-skilled. His academic rating for the school period was excellent. Nice. Good job, Grandpa. Signed by the Major, wow, of the Signal Corps. May 7th, 1943. And then actually you can see on the back, check that out, checked off radio operator high-speed. Then crossed out, fixed station, intercept, low speed, send and receive rates, and then some other stuff. War Department procedure, Army-Navy procedure. Nice. What we got here? Not sure what this is. It says diary from leaving Camp Forest, Tennessee. Wow. So this is basically an itinerary of like all the places you were sent, the date he was sent, eventually ending up in the Pacific, I think. Give me a sec. Let's see here. Diary from leaving Camp Forest, Tennessee. He left Forest on April 8th, 1944 to arrive at Stoneman April 15th, 1944. Interesting. Look at all these places. So yeah, this must have been probably the second campaign, April 1944. Now I imagine the third campaign was in, you know, summer 45 probably, or, you know, end of the war. And then perhaps he was in a campaign in 43 or something. Wow. And it looks like here he left Stoneman April 20th, left Frisco April 21, and that looks like the day he arrived in the Pacific. He arrives at Milne Bay, May 15th. Arrives at Oro Bay, May 16th. He leaves Oro Bay, and now we're starting to get some Asian-sounding names. Morotai, November 30th. Castillo, this is wild. Look at all these places. Yeah, it says down there, look at Luzon, Baton Province, Pampanga Province. I don't know why the screen's freaking out. Very interesting. Wow. All over the world. They don't lie about that. Check this out. It's issued to Martin B. Whitney. I'll read it to you. It's a it's a letter from the president, and this might have been given to everybody. It might have been given to officers. Might have been given to people in specific groups. I'm not sure. I can't tell if it's one of those signature machines. Probably is, but at the same time, you never know. Because according to that thing, it said 4 bronze stars. 3 for sure, maybe 4. So perhaps Harry Truman did sign this. Let's read it. It says, "To you who answered the call of your country and served in its armed forces to bring about the total defeat of the enemy, I extend the heartfelt thanks of a grateful nation. As one of the nation's finest, you undertook the most severe task one can be called upon to perform. Because you demonstrated the fortitude, resourcefulness, and calm judgment necessary to carry out that task, we now look to you for leadership and example in further exalting our country in peace." Signed, Harry Truman from the White House. Hold up his signature for you. It looks kind of real. Wow. And the little White House down there. What do we got next? Okay, this says restricted. Headquarters, 98th Signal Battalion, Camp Forest, Tennessee. 11 November 1943, special orders. Oh, this is going to be cool. I'll show it to you. Okay, let's check this out here. Let me fix the focus. Maybe that's why we're getting disco party lighting problems. Okay, restricted headquarters. Special orders number 174. 1. Second Lieutenant Richard Werner is appointed personal officer, Vice Second Lieutenant John Williams. 2. The following promotions of some stuff are announced. To be Technical Sergeant Albert. Okay, these are all promotions before heading to battle, I think. To be Staff Sergeant Herbert Goldman. To be Technical 4th grade. Okay, that's what technicals are. I was wondering on the handwritten list of who was in a squad what T4 and stuff was. Technicals. And then, I found Grandpa. Hold on. To be Technical 5th grade Private First Class Martin B. Whitney. Wow. So he rose up quick, and I think that's probably a testament to how brutal some of the fighting was and how you went from being a private to oftentimes in a command position on the battlefield pretty quickly. That's pretty cool. The following, well, it's pretty sad, but also interesting. Who's this signed by? George Pataki. We got a big one here from the War Department. I'm not sure what this is. Oh boy, what could this be? Let's see, we got quite a few things, I think. Give me a moment. Looks like we got some financial stuff from the Army. Tax stuff, it looks like. Looks like a big old packet of tax stuff from the U.S. government. Ain't nothing changed. We will spare ourselves looking at that. What do we got here? Here's the last thing I pulled out. Headquarters, 98th Signal Battalion. We have another promotion here. Let's see, is Grandpa on here? He's got to be on here somewhere. It's also signed by George Pataki, and it's to be Technical 4th grade, Martin Benjamin Whitney. I don't know if I showed you this. When I was very young, he gave us like those envelope hats and a little pouch with a mirror in it. And I think this came from him. So this pouch I still use today. Has a little clip. Pull up, put your belt through it, and close it. Pretty sweet. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.